Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Healthy Living Sessions podcast where we talk about more than just health and fitness. Life is about a balance of both health, fitness, and anything else you want to do in life. So you determine what that balance is. I'm just here to show you some tips and tricks of how to have that balanced life. And now we are continuing our 10X series right now, and we're talking about how routines are a rut. Now, routines are a good thing up to a certain point. They're a good thing to keep you going and make sure you're constantly doing whatever you need to do. But there's a point where they do become a rut because, as you know, if you've ever been out in the country riding motorcycles, dirt bikes, four-wheelers, stuff like that, when you go in the mud, you keep making this rut, and this rut keeps happening and happening and happening, and eventually you can get stuck in it. And the only way to get through is to go through that same rut. And that's not a good thing. So if you have a routine that becomes like that, where all you can do is stay on that one single path and you can't go any other direction at any point until you get through that routine, that's when routines become a problem. So before then, they're not too bad, but once they become pretty much habitual, it's like you've got to do it, or it seems like life is not, your day didn't go according to plan, then that's when the routines are bad. Now, one of the things that was said was the limitations we put on ourselves is self-imposed, and this is so true. And this goes back to routines being a rut. Sometimes we feel like we have to do this. We have to get this done. We have to get that done. We have to do these things in order to get to that goal we want to. And that's self-imposed. We oftentimes can figure a way around something. Maybe we don't know how to do it right now. Maybe somebody else that we were counting on to get something done for us did not have it done when they said they would. And now that kind of held us up. Well, maybe it didn't. Maybe you can find another way around it, but you are just saying to yourself, no, this is the only way we can do it. We can't do it any other way. And that's a problem. We need to make sure that we are not putting limitations on ourselves. And that comes with a lot of things, even just, I can't lift that much weight, or I can't run that far, or no, I really can't do that, this or that. Whatever you say you can't do, more than likely it's something you have imposed on yourself. It's not something somebody else has told you. Now, there are some cases where that is true. It is things that people have told you, but not every time is it that way. I would say majority of the time is from you putting that limitation on yourself. There's so many books out there that talk about, thinking your way to being, or Think and Grow Rich, The Power of Positive Thinking, stuff like that. There's all these books that talk about thinking your way to that. So when you are putting, you self-imposing limitations on yourself, then you are thinking that you can't do it. So you need to stop thinking you can't and start thinking you can. Second thing here, how you do anything is how you do everything. So make sure when you're doing anything, basically however you do one thing, you do everything that same way. So make sure that you're always having integrity in what you do. Make sure you're always working hard at everything you do, because if you start not working hard at certain things and think you're going to work hard at other things, typically you're going to end up not working hard at all the things. Then you're going to say, well, actually I'm not tired. You can get in this kind of lazy mindset. So make sure whatever you're doing it to the best of your ability. You're doing it pretty close to the same every time. Again, you don't want to get in that rut, but you want to make sure that you're giving it that same effort. And that's not really the rut. Not a rut per se, but you always want to be working hard, putting in 100% every time, because how you do anything is how you do everything. Next, I didn't come this far to only come this far. So this goes back again to our rut scenario. You came this far, but you didn't come this far only to come this far. You gotta keep going through. You gotta create that new path that's gonna give you that trajectory to go forward in life. Don't think that, oh man, I made it to where I want it, now I don't have to make any more goals. No, make more goals. That's the problem with a lot of people. They see some goal they thought maybe was unattainable, and they got it, and now they're happy. And then they sit there and just do that. Have a growth mindset. Make sure that you're not just staying in that routine that says, oh, as long as I do this, I'm going to keep, progressing like this, whatever. You need to make sure you're breaking that old routine and creating a new one that helps you reach newer heights. Now, this next quote is by Jesse Itzler, and I like this one. Praise the effort, not the result. So this kind of goes along with the routines. And just realized I spelled routine wrong, but whatever. Anyways, so praise the effort, not the results. So the effort is part of that routine. As long as it's not the same routine over and over again, you're putting in effort to make something happen. And that is so much harder to do, just putting in the effort versus getting the result. Because if I'm in sales. If I went out every time to try and get a listing and I got a listing every time, yeah, it'd be great. It would be really amazing, especially, go on in and, get the contract and close the deal, would be amazing. But that's not going to happen every time. And if I'm only praising that effort, then I'm not going to get a lot of praise, because anybody in sales knows you get a ton of no's. So you have to praise that effort more than the result. Blanking out here. Than the result. So make sure that you're praising the effort that you do. Because if you're not praising the effort you do, then you're going to get burnt out. You're going to find yourself saying, man, I just feel like I can't do this. It's just too much. I keep getting told no, I'm getting rejected, I'm not making any progress, when really you are. So you have to make sure you praise that effort. The effort is more important than the result. And of course the result's what's going to get you paid, like in sales. But if you're never making the effort, you're never going to get to the results. So make sure you put emphasis on that effort, always going out there and trying. And I think this is really important when it comes to children. Make sure when you're teaching your children, make sure you're praising that effort. Like, hey, good job, you tried. It was awesome. Jesse and Sarah really talked about this, and that's kind of what Sarah's quote is about. So won't get into it too much. But, basically just make sure you praise that effort, because it's so important to instill in kids that good job, you did really good trying. Like, I'm not talking about participation trophies, participation awards, or anything like that, but praise that effort, that they actually went out of their comfort zone to do something. Because the more praise you give them for that, the more later on in life they'll be willing to do those things that are uncomfortable. Now, Sarah Blakely, the last quote here, the more you experience in life, the more you have to offer. So these two, to me, really pair together, and they happen to be husband and wife. So they're probably on the same page. But anyways, the more you experience in life, the more you have to offer. And it's so true. The more experiences you have in life, the more knowledge you gain, the more you can tell others about, like, hey, how to do this, how to do that. And it may not just be knowledge, but you just have those experiences where you can kind of guide people in that way, or you can share what you've learned, but and for yourself, you have so much more to offer to yourself because you've experienced more of life. So if you go to different countries, now you understand that wherever you live is better than you thought it was, perhaps, or maybe you're now realizing that, wait, I have more to offer to my area than I thought. I thought I wasn't that great, but really I am. I go here and I see people that are struggling more than me. I see that I'm way more wealthy than these people over here. So make sure you're going out there and gaining more life experiences, and you're going to realize you have way more to offer. Now I want to go back to what I was talking about with the kids, with the quote here from Jesse about praise the effort, not the results. I really think this is important, to praise that effort. I cannot emphasize that enough. So many people feel like they need to praise the results, wait until you get the results, and that's whenever we're going to be super happy for you. And yes, it is important to praise the result as well, but if you're not ever praising the effort, you're going to eventually burn out. So you got to keep fueling that fire, so to say. You know, that's what that praising that effort does. It keeps the fire going until you can get to that destination, like a train. You know, you have the fireman in there who's always fueling that fire. So he's always praising that fire with fuel to keep the train going. And eventually they get to their destination, and he doesn't have to keep praising, you know, fueling that fire once they get to their destination, because they have gotten the result they wanted. Now, it is good to praise that result. So don't get me wrong, it's good to praise it, but make sure you're praising that effort. It goes a long ways. I know for me, it would have really helped at a younger age to have gotten more praise like that about the efforts, and being encouraged to go out and make those efforts, to go talk to random strangers, you know, under parent supervision, of course, but, you know, to go out and do things. I was a very shy kid growing up, and that's part of what's held me back, I feel like. I mean, I don't regret it or anything, but I feel like if I would have been given more praise and push to go out and do effort, it would have really helped me in life. So parents, make sure that you're doing stuff like that. Or you guys, if you are not doing that yourself, make sure you're going out there and praising yourself for the effort that you do, and commend yourself when you get told no, because it's so hard to get rejection. But the more you can face that rejection, the better off you're going to be in life, and the more you're actually going to gain overall, because you're willing to take more no's to get to the yes. And it takes a lot of those to get to that yes. Now guys, again, routines are a rut, or routines as I put it. Routines are a rut. I guess it's country today. Routines are a rut. So make sure that you don't get stuck in that one routine. Make sure you find your path. Make sure you're going along to your destination, feeling that flame the whole time, doing everything exactly the same, putting in 100% effort all the time. And if you enjoyed this message, please share it with a friend. Subscribe to my podcast or YouTube, whichever one you're listening to. Leave a comment, leave a review, and have a healthy and blessed day.